It's time for the Trading Stocks Made Easy podcast. Each week, Trading Stocks Made Easy demystifies stock trading and investing so you can profit big. And now, here's the host of Trading Stocks Made Easy, the wealthy investor, Tyrone Jackson.
Well, hello there. It's Tyrone Jackson, the wealthy investor, and I see you are back with me here for another episode of Trading Stocks Made Easy. Now, you know how much I love our time together, and I try to bring you not only educational information, but always the best of the best. And boy, do I have a guest in the studio today with quite a story. You know, just before I introduce Ash, I want to emphasize something, because I know there are a lot of people who are teaching stock market trading out there, and they tell you can make $1 million and you can really change your life. I want to take a moment to kind of emphasize what the wealthy investor approach is all about. When I started this program, I really wanted to make millionaires. I wanted people to change their life and have a steady stream of income for the rest of their life. So this is simply not about jumping in and out of stocks and looking at how much money I made and how fast the money comes. It's about building a consistent revenue stream, and you do that by getting a financial education and following discipline. And this gentleman who's joined me today has discovered the magic of discipline, and he's willing to follow it, and he's having great results. Welcome to the stage. I shouldn't say stage. Welcome to the studio. It's Ash Khan. Hello there.
Tyrone Jackson, my best friend.
Thank you. That is so nice of you to say that. Ash Khan. You know, we were talking before we were recording, and you were telling us that that was not your birth name, but you've had this wonderful career as a doctor, and then you realized you weren't following your dream and you wanted to be an actor, and you realized that if you went with Ash Khan, it'd be easier to for the public to sort of kind of remember that, right?
That's right. My real name is Ashok Thulpatty, and there is a doctor floating around called Ashok Thulpatty, but now we've got Ash Khan, so we've got two people here. I had to change my name because I just wanted to make it simpler for people, you know. And so when I hear my name on set as Ash, I feel good.
Yes. And I was thinking about changing my name to Cher, but that didn't go well, and I stuck with Tyrone Jackson, right? Now, just before we get started, because your story is absolutely fascinating to me, I want to say that you were originally born in, what city was that?
This is a little town called Wise, Virginia, 3,000 people.
Wise, Virginia. And you said to me, you should have heard me 7 years ago. You had a Southern accent, you said?
Oh, actually, it's like when I was growing up, much longer ago, I used to talk like this right here. And this is very good that I can do this because it's good for acting. But I had to change it when I was at University of Virginia because a lot of people kind of made fun of me. And I said, hey, maybe I need to switch my accent a little bit now.
Right. And your diction is perfect. And before we get started, I do want to also mention you are the best dressed student I have ever seen. You come to the live classes in Los Angeles, and you have really put in some time.
I love to dress up. That's all I gotta say. I love fashion.
We had a live meeting not too long ago, and when you walk in the room, it is a showstopper, okay?
I'm just competing with you. I'm just trying to get on your level.
I have to dress up because I'm the teacher. All right, let's talk a little bit about your parents and how your parents wound up in Wise, Virginia. Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, my dad was really a brilliant guy, and he was a gold medalist in med school in India, and he came over to the U.S. with literally no money, and he just joined a residency in New York, and one of his friends said, hey, you want to come down to Virginia to practice once you're done with your residency in this small town? And he's like, sure, why not? So that's how I kind of ended up in Wise, Virginia. And I grew up in that town, and it was a wonderful place to live. And then I went to college in University of Virginia, and I stayed there for a really long time, did my bachelor's, my master's, my med school, and some research there. I'm going to talk a little bit about stocks because I'm very grateful to my parents for having taught me so much about the stock market before I got into the Wealthy Investor Program. They really showed me that the stock market can bring a lot of money if you don't make certain mistakes. And those mistakes are don't invest in penny stocks. invest in stocks of the Dow that pay a dividend with low PEs. That was basically what they taught me. They really encouraged me to learn a lot about it. So I did a lot of education in that way to learn more about the stock market.
Now, so you had your parents guiding you. It's so funny because I just realized there's another doctor in the New York program, and he tells the exact same story, right? Your brother's also a doctor.
Yeah, he's a plastic surgeon in Indiana. He does cleft palates and burns, and he's also very much a stock investor as well. And really did try to teach me options back in the day. I couldn't really understand it. He said, "Hey, you can earn 20%." I was like, it's too much work. I can't think of it. So when I finally got into your program and I learned it, and you made it so simple, it was so simple. Finally understood it, and I was so grateful to learn that from you and the way that you simplified it. For me, even a guy that's pretty educated can understand things. I had trouble understanding.
But you know what I think is fascinating about your story is that most people who come to the Wealthy Investor Program were getting no financial education at all. You had parents that were encouraging you to not real estate, but hey, there's something to this stock market thing. So you were already kind of pre-programmed for success.
Exactly. So I owe them a lot for pre-programming, as you said. That is a financial blueprint.
Now, your parents encouraged you to get involved with stocks, right? And at the same time, you weren't really totally following your dream because you were on the track to become a doctor, right? And you are a doctor.
That's right. I got straight A's in school, and I did the whole GPA, MCAT, all those things to become a doctor. But what I really loved, I love acting. Brings the greatest joy in my life. And I knew it when I did a play at the age of 5 called Gonbei the Duck Hunter. And in that moment, I knew I wanted to be an actor. But I kind of lived in fear. I wasn't sure that I could really make it as an actor. And I revisited it several times in my life. I'm like, am I ready yet? No, I'm not ready. I'm just going to do the doctor thing. It's a stable salary. Let me just go that route. And so I continued that journey for a very long time. I finished my med school, my residency, my fellowship at NIH, and then I became an assistant professor at MD Anderson Cancer Center. And I remember the exact day that I was talking to another fellow, and I was just kind of her advisor because, that's some of the duties that we have as a professor. And she felt really down. She wasn't getting any jobs, and she'd worked with me a lot, and she was a great fellow. And I said, hey, don't worry about it. If you just follow your dreams and you work hard and you're passionate about it, you can achieve anything you want. And in that moment, I realized, oh my God, I'm such a hypocrite. I'm not following my dreams. Why am I not following my dreams? And so I got back into acting classes in Texas. The very first day, I was so happy. I was actually happy in life, legit. And so I just took classes like 5 days a week while I was a doctor. And within 6 months, I'd booked a feature called The Challenger Disaster. And I decided it's probably time to move to LA and learn more and try to figure out how to become an actor. So I quit my job, cold turkey, in Texas.
Apparently, you were making a pretty good salary.
I was making a great salary. I got to tell you, I was working very little then, maybe 10 hours a month with a doctor's salary. Okay. Yeah, probably shouldn't say that.
Now, I'm going to assume that's where you got your first chunk of money.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And I've always been investing for the past 20 years. I've always been setting aside money for my Roth IRA, all of those things. The beautiful thing about the stock market is if it goes down, it's going to come back up. So I went through the crash of 2001 and 2008, and I saw my account just get almost wiped, but I didn't sell anything. I just kept it there because I knew it was going to go up. I just didn't look at it for a couple years. And the reason why I bring that up is because I learned something very powerful in this program called a bear call spread, which is my favorite trade. I didn't know you could do that when the market is down. And so that has given me an extra tool that I'm just absolutely excited about.
Now, this is the thing that also fascinates me. You were trading for 20 years, long before you discovered the whole wealthy investor wealth building approach.
Right.
And you said that you were focused more on fundamentals then rather than technicals. Did I state that correctly?
That's right. Yeah. So I read a lot of Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, Benjamin Graham. And so I learned more about technical aspects fundamental aspects like free cash value, enterprise value, a lot of different ratios that at the time seemed to make sense, but then I realized you don't really need all of those fundamental knowledge, all those ratios to be able to trade well. What is important is understanding what the company does, what the revenues is, and I would read the earnings statement often of the stocks that I traded, but the way that you simplified it for a retail investor to just focus on top line revenue and float and things like that, it just made it so easy to identify the good stocks. Because even though I had all of these fundamental tools to identify what a cheap stock was and what was undervalued, I didn't make massive amounts of money from my 20 years of investing,
So this is interesting because there are a lot of traditionalists who feel that lower PEs, for example, are better because your risk is lower. But that doesn't help when you're in a tech stock that could have a high PE, and you have a high PE in part because the float is so small. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do know what you're saying. And I always wondered about that. I was like, what about these stocks that have high PEs? Why do they go up so much? It shouldn't go up that much, right?
Right. But if there's
and
a
you
limited,
identified it.
Yeah, if there's a limited
float.
supply, then you would have missed Microsoft, you would have missed Amazon.com because they didn't flood the market with an overabundance of shares. So therefore, when you looked at their earnings, it was not going to be in line with tradition.
Exactly. And Warren Buffett, it took him so long to invest in Apple.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he invested probably within the past few years, right? And he had not gotten into it for a long time because he didn't see that either. Probably, I don't know.
Well, he was not attuned to tech trends. So he would recommend Coca-Cola, McDonald's, and all those steady names. But when the new world order of technology kind of birthed itself, how you looked and picked stocks was totally different than like those traditional models. So you were very smart to follow those traditional models. They just didn't fit the birth of new tech, right?
I see.
Right. And when you were studying with other people, were you studying online, or you would just go and get books and read the books?
I just went through a lot of books, A Random Walk on Wall Street. I just tried to absorb everything that I could about the stock market. And I didn't get into options at all. I just stayed with, let me just hold companies for long periods of time and sell them when I need the money.
Okay. Oh, is that what you were doing? You were holding, and then maybe 3 years from now you would liquidate, and you just keep adding. Now, you must have had great dividends.
Yeah, I had great
discipline gets you a lot of dividends.
Right, but I think it's the capital gains on some of the longer term stocks that I held that would bring the money that I needed when I needed it.
So here's what I love about your story. So you say, now I'm going to go to L.A. instead of just doing this Texas jazz. I'm totally walking away from my job. You do have a chunk of money because you're disciplined from your medical studies, right? And you get here in L.A., and now you've got to plug into the whole entertainment scene because you're going to need an agent to get you out here, and it's very competitive. And you run into this actress who's also a stock market trader.
That's right. So Rebecca Larson, not only an actress, she's a director and writer, amazing human being. And she's talking about stocks. And she says, I was excited to have someone to talk to and have an exchange of ideas. And she said, I make 5% and I learned from Tyrone Jackson. I'm like, what? Tyrone Jackson, 5%? I make 20%. And she goes, no, 5% a month. Whoa, okay, I have to check this out then. So then I was like, okay, Tyrone Jackson can make 5% a month. And again, Rebecca Larson is someone that when she speaks, I listen to what she says. And so I absorbed everything that you did, a podcast, YouTube channel. I think I registered online. I was like, let me have all this information. And I came to the first Wealthy Investor meeting. And I got to say that was one of the happiest days of my life that I came there, because when you explained covered calls that day, because I never really understood it until then, it was an incredible light bulb went off, like a nuclear bomb in my head went off.
Yeah.
It was the happiest day of my life because I knew at that point I'm going to be financially free.
Because the beauty of covered call writing is you can predict how much you're going to earn every single month or every single week if you're into weeklies, right?
Yeah.
And so it's not hard to see where the money is coming from once it's explained to you.
Exactly. Because you were able to explain it in such a simple way. When that hit me, I was just blown away because I was like, I'm not going to have to worry about money anymore.
Right. And I find one of the things is, I'm never, you've been there when the classes are really packed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm entertaining people while simultaneously teaching them. And the reason I'm entertaining them is because of my background, obviously. But I am also watching the crowd to see, did they absorb that concept, right? So we have this nice little energy going with a few comic bits in between. And one of the reasons I emphasize the comedy is because I try to lower people's defenses, because I get a lot of people say, I'm stupid, I really don't get numbers, I've never been good at it. And there's no greater joy. I mean, you're a medical student, so it's different. There's no greater joy than having someone say, I thought I was really bad at math, but I earned 3.7% last month. All of a sudden, they're this mathematical whiz. Okay. So one of the things that I love about your story that you've just shared is something like free cash flow. Not really relevant to us if you're wealth building, right?
Right.
Because that company whose stock we think is going to rise, they're at the beginning of their financial success. Therefore, they may not have a lot of free cash flow, right? Because they're
churning
putting their money back out into things like marketing, right?
Right.
So are there any other tools that you've learned to kind of push aside in favor of the wealth building?
Any tools that I've...
So, for example, free cash flow,
Oh.
you know what it is right now.
Right.
But it's not necessary for you to pick a company that's on the rise.
Right.
Is there anything else you had to let go of in terms of your understanding? Like, for example, some people say, look at the CEO's resume. And if they've run other companies, that's good. Look and see who's buying and selling stocks in the company itself.
Yeah.
And if the CEO is selling, that's not good. Have you discovered anything like that you no longer need?
Yeah, I think my approach to the market has fundamentally changed. I have not been using PE ratios anymore, or enterprise value, or cash at hand, or any of these indicators that I think are probably more for analysts, but not really for retail investors. I'm doing a lot better by just focusing on what you're teaching, which is top line revenue and float and I don't know what else.
and understanding the story.
Yeah.
So, for example, a lot of people buy stocks and they go, I have a feeling this stock is going to go higher.
Okay, I have done that before in the past. Yeah, like with Leapfrog. That was a huge disaster for me because I just saw it and I was like, oh, it's so cheap, but they have so much cash at hand.
Right.
And so they're going to be afloat for a while. No, they folded fairly quickly. So I did have these problems with wanting to buy cheap stocks. I love to buy things on a discount, you know? And I've kind of let that go now and just accepted PE ratios that are much higher than what I usually would have liked. I usually would have liked to invest in stocks with PEs of less than 10, and I don't even look at it. Correct. And it's good. And over the past, 1.5 years, I haven't been strayed wrong in picking having you pick the right stocks for me.
Right. And then it's just a question of whether you agree with our choices or not, right? Hey, Ash, we're going to take a commercial. We are here today with Ash Khan, Dr. Ash Khan, or Dr. something.
Yeah.
And me. But we're both happy to be here. We'll catch up with you right after this break.
Want to increase your stock market trading profits? Then you need to start your monthly membership to WITradeschool.com right now. Don't understand how to write covered calls for monthly income? No problem. Simply review Tyrone's latest stock trades in our video library as many times as you need. WITradeschool.com is all about helping you get the financial education you need to earn money in the stock market and change your financial life. Tyrone Jackson, the wealthy investor, has helped his students earn thousands of dollars per month trading stocks online from home. These are people just like you. So what are you waiting for? Follow Tyrone Jackson's Red Hot Stock Trades and Investment Strategies today. Don't wait. Start your monthly membership at WITradeschool.com right now.
And welcome back to Trading Stocks Made Easy. It is yours truly, Tyrone Jackson, and I am privileged to be talking to Ash Khan, who was studying for 20 years, long before he discovered the Wealthy Investor Program. Obviously, you're educated. Obviously, your comprehension level is pretty high. Strategies. What I love about teaching is I feel like I teach from a buffet approach. Here are covered calls, volatility trading, you graduate yourself onto spreads, and then you choose the trades that you love the most. If I were to ask you, what are your 3 favorite trades, you would respond by saying?
Bear call spread, covered calls, and leaps.
Okay,
in that order.
so let's explain let's explain why you love the bear call spread.
So I think anyone can make money in the market when it's going up. So that doesn't really tell us anything. But who can make money when the market is flat and when it's going down? Not a lot of people. But that's why I love bear call spread, because you're making money when the market's flat. And that is an amazing tool to have. And it was one of the first things that I just wanted to really learn about. How do I make money when the market's going down?
Yeah.
Teach me.
Covered calls for obvious reasons, but
it just brings income every month. And it's pretty much guaranteed. You get it that day, and you just hold it. And because we're picking stocks that are, I just can't imagine that they would go to zero ever. You just keep it in the long term. If it goes down, you just place another covered call the next month until you're out of the position. So I think that it's an amazing way to continue to earn income without ever having to worry about the stock disappearing.
Now, we're also covered call writing on S&P 500 components and Dow stocks, right? So these are the best of the best, right? And then I'm surprised you didn't mention volatility trading. Everybody loves that on a 1% up day. Not your thing?
I don't really volatility trade that much. I think a lot of me is just long-term investing, and so I don't like to do a lot of short-term trades. I'd rather just make all my trades in a month and then wait until the next month.
Now, you're at a point now, you're living off these call premiums, right? So do you ever feel afraid that the market is going to go away and that this income stream is going to dry up on you?
Never. And it has not gone wrong for the past 1.5 years, and it will never go wrong because who can see Apple and Microsoft disappearing ever?
Right.
It's just not going to happen. And the strategies, especially with a bear call spread, if the market goes down, great, I can still earn money. I'm very confident that I will continue to be able to earn money in the stock market, regardless of what happens. And my 20-year history in the stock market, it always comes back up. I'm not making any risky decisions here like I did in the past with Leapfrog.
Right.
You know?
Right.
These are well-calculated, wise decisions. This is not a quick, get-rich-quick money scam, you know?
Now, you're what I would call a star student, and here's why. Because you are disciplined and you are patient. I wind up teaching a lot of people who are all into weekly call options because they're trying to make as much money as they can. And one of the reasons you're totally able to sustain yourself is you will sell longer dated calls, right? So you're pulling in chunks of money.
Right.
And I told you the story. We actually had a class over the weekend in Los Angeles, right? And I told you the story about getting on this group coaching call with this guy from like Tennessee. He's like, Tyrone, I love you.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, okay. And he says, these 3-month covered calls are amazing. And what was so great about that was, you know, a 3-month covered call, as you know, has all this extrinsic value in it. So if you're selling 3-month covered calls, man, you are doing really well for yourself in terms of generating income. Plus, one of the reasons you like trading is because you have a lot of clothes to buy, apparently.
That's right. That's where my dividend paychecks go.
Right. Now, you also mentioned loving leaps.
Yeah.
In the money or out of the money leaps?
I like in the money leaps. I like to have a lot of intrinsic value. I don't mind that it's more expensive than out of the money. It's just that it's not going to go down as quickly. Everything that I do is just very long term, like just a long term plan on these things. I want time to be right, and I don't want it to go down too quickly. So
I recently was introduced to a friend of a friend who's also a millionaire. And, there are a lot of ways to $1 million in the stock market, but you have to have patience, right? And he buys Leaps options that are 2 years out,
Wow.
that are in the money as a stock surrogate. So could you imagine if Home Depot goes up 40%
Wow.
in 24 months? This guy is really clean, but he's very, very patient.
I like that. I think I'm going to try that.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Now, I like the Leaps options that are financed by call premium, so therefore your risk is low, right?
Right.
So we have this event, Wealthy Investor event in Hawaii every year. And this coming Hawaii is all advanced strategies. So as soon as we finish here, I'm going to show you one of those strategies. It's my special way of saying thank you for coming in.
What month is it?
I'll show you when we're done. It is an incredible moneymaker. But so you have your favorite strategies. You are sustaining totally off your portfolio.
That's right.
You are living your dream
I'm living my dream.
as an actor here in Hollywood.
Yeah.
What does that feel like every day? Because you have no money worries and you're living that big creative dream.
It's the most amazing time in my life that I actually can be here and living my dreams out and actually booking some pretty significant work and not having to worry about a day job. I know that when I moved here, I said, I just don't want a 9-to-5 income. I want to just be able to trade from home. And I now have that. I have everything that I want right now in life, and it's a beautiful thing. So I think chasing after your dreams, some people say that's a bad thing, but I don't.
Right.
I think you should just take a risk.
And you're a doctor, for crying out loud. This man is a doctor, ladies and gentlemen. What do your parents think of the life that you have? Do they understand what's going on?
I think so. Yeah. We talk.
Do they fully endorse you?
I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't asked them about that. Maybe when they see me on the big screen, coming soon.
Right. So I
MGM.
have a joke. My mother has no idea what it is I really do.
Oh.
Right. But I have multiple homes. She comes to my houses, and every time she walks through the door, she looks up at the ceiling and goes, "This is nice." So she doesn't really know what goes on. She doesn't even really know what a podcast is, but she knows what it's like to walk in and everything's clean and it smells nice. And I go, "Would you like some more duck, mother?" or whatever it is I made that day. So I want to congratulate you on all of your success. You're not only intelligent, but your level of discipline is really what allows you to live the life that you're living today. And here's one thing I know for sure, because people they listen to the show all over the world. There is at least 3 people who are listening right now, and they're saying, good for Ash. Great for him. The guy's obviously smart. He's a doctor. He started with a chunk of change. But that can't really happen for me. What would you say to those 3 people who maybe don't have the vision or maybe just don't have the hope? What would you say to them?
Regardless of what amount of money you have, you can achieve the success that you want if you're very disciplined on setting aside even $100 in the market every single month, because that money will go up. It will create more money for you. So you don't have to have incredible sums of money to live off of. You just have to be consistent and disciplined and set aside the money and put it in the market every month.
Well, you, my friend, are a shining example of that. Ash Khan, thank you for coming in.
Thank you. It's amazing to be here. I can't believe I get to be on this podcast. It's really an incredible thing.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and wait till you see the paycheck. Back in a moment with more Trading Stocks Made Easy.
Want to increase your stock market trading profits? Then you need to start your monthly membership to WITradeschool.com right now. Don't understand how to write covered calls for monthly income? No problem. Simply review Tyrone's latest stock trades in our video library as many times as you need. WITradeschool.com is all about helping you get the financial education you need to earn money in the stock market and change your financial life. Tyrone Jackson, the wealthy investor, has helped his students earn thousands of dollars per month trading stocks online from home. These are people just like you. So what are you waiting for? Follow Tyrone Jackson's red-hot stock trades and investment strategies today. Don't wait. Start your monthly membership at WITradeschool.com right now.
Well, I got to tell you, this is the first person we've had in the studio since the whole COVID affair. And I think it's absolutely wonderful. I love it when I meet people who are smarter than me. I don't tell them they're smarter than me, but when you're a doctor, right? You've obviously done a little bit more schooling than I have. Hey, listen, to be successful financially, right? Really, all you need is an open mind and a plan. Most people don't plan to be successful financially, so therefore they handle their money accordingly. Number 2, in order to be successful, you need that financial education. Wealth building is a little bit different from trading because it's not about how fast you make the money. It's about how consistent you are and where you put your earnings. And that's why covered call writing is so important. Do yourself a favor. Keep an open mind today. Maybe start a journal where you think about where you'd like to be financially in the next 2 to 5 years, and join me in the Wealthy Investor Program, or at least go to thewealthyinvestor.net and download the free ebook. Financial education is everything, and your mindset can make you a millionaire. Hey, listen, this is Tyrone Jackson, the Wealthy Investor, saying I'll see you right here next time on the next Trading Stocks Made Easy.
You've been listening to the Trading Stocks Made Easy podcast. Be sure to rate and review our show on iTunes. While you're on iTunes, be sure to click the subscribe button and you'll automatically receive our next episode.